Since 2013, Disability Living Allowance has been replaced by Personal Independence Payments. So PIP is how you hear them referred to. The idea of DLA and PIP is to cover the extra costs that having a disability can incur. So if you sit down all the time because you use a wheelchair and you can't keep warm, you might need to have your heating cranked up to 30 all year round. That's expensive. You need to drive more, so you need extra petrol. Your mobility equipment breaks down. It's important to make that is what this benefit is for. And it's from anything between £21 and £140 a week.
One of the biggest problems with this particular benefit is that in order to get, I was still getting the equivalent of job seekers allowance, but I was not able to go for any interviews because I couldn't walk. And so there's another one you can get, which is ESA is like job seekers on a sick note.
Yeah.
But in order to get the higher benefit, which would allow me to live, you have to be proved that you're on the PIP disability benefit. It all hinges on whether or not the PIP decision makers at the DWP think that I'm entitled to, or think that I'm disabled.
Right.
Because it makes sense to have some impartial assessment in the system which works out whether people are entitled to those various different benefits. So I'm not sure there's any easier way of changing it other than inviting councils to do a completely separate assessment themselves, which I suspect won't be very easy. But so one other important point to make is that the whole reason for the move to PIP was to look at how someone's condition affects them, not just assume that because someone has X condition they do get the help, and if they have Y condition they don't. Because I mean, clearly a condition like MS will vary in its severity from individual to individual. So there does need to be an individual assessment of what help a certain person needs, and then we can give them that help as generously as we can.
The problem that it was waiting on the assessment report, and when the assessment report went through and it was incorrect, it had said that I was able to walk 200 metres, and the assessor hadn't seen me walk anything. I hadn't
Mr. Mills
walked.
respond to you, Penny.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Absolutely.
I'm getting carried away.
No, you're not getting carried away. You're telling an MP who sat on the House of Commons Work and Pensions Committee last year the reality of what happened to you, and it's absolutely pertinent for Mr. Mills to hear.
I've certainly seen the same situation from my own constituency for casework. At times these assessments do go wrong, but there is an issue with the system in that a lot of the time what the neurologist or the GP sends in as evidence is not what the system needs to see. What the person making the decision needs to understand is how the condition affects Penny's life, or obviously the individual, the claimant's life. What you tend to get from a consultant or a GP is a list of appointments they've attended and a restate of the actual diagnosis. What's really important is to actually get to the evidence about how the condition affects people, what they can and can't do, how that affects their life on a day-to-day basis. And that is something that not every consultant or GP actually has that information or has that awareness. But if we actually get that right evidence early in the process, we can get a lot quicker and better decisions.